Yo, 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 yo. What's happening? What is the word? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We did this yesterday where I just went live and did the reaction videos. And I said, let me do this again today. Now today I'm only going to react to this one video because it's actually like an almost 2 hour long video. I'm not going to play all 2 hours of it, but I want to get this up here. Appreciate everybody for coming up in here. Make sure you rep your city in the chat. Okay, so if you are on here, let me know if you've been seeing this clip on social media go viral with Clifton Powell getting into this heated argument with this dude, this zesty brother here. Be more in the building, Memphis in the building, Cleveland, Dallas, Fort Worth. Shouts to everybody. So originally I was going to do a reaction video to the part where Clifton Powell was going back and forth with this dude. But I said I actually needed to, because I was seeing a bunch of different clips. So I said I actually want to watch this video, and I didn't finish watching it in its entirety. I watched most of it. And I got some points in it that I'm going to break down. So this panel is called Black Men Trust Black Women. Special roundtable discussing how our men can support the movement. And this is by Sister Song, Women of Color, and The Conscious Lee. I'm going to play this intro so y'all can see some of the people that's involved in this roundtable. Then we're going to go through some of this conversation.
We are smarter when we listen to black women. Not because all black women are right, but because all black women deserve to be heard.
The main theme is trusting black women, but how do we get ourselves as men fixed to be able to love them the way they need to be loved?
How do y'all think about safety outside of just I'm the protector? You know what I'm saying? How do we build that? Patriarchy is not good. The system of domination for women is not good. But a lot of us buy into that.
So I got a question I want to ask you.
So I see a bunch of Conscious Lee's videos, and he's one of the, this whole conversation, I'm gonna be completely honest, it's a lot of pandering going on in it. I love black women. I love women in general, black women in particular. There's a lot of things that I appreciate and adore about our black women. But when we have these conversations, I want y'all to understand that we have for the last 50 years been hearing that black men ain't this, black men ain't that, black men get blamed for stuff, black men is, and when you listen to conversations where it's, you know, supposed to be uplifting black women, I very rarely in this entire video hear anything of them uplifting black men. It's essentially a round table of a bunch of men talking about how can we do better for our black women with no actual real, if I have to be completely honest, I think it's just a bunch of surface level conversations. I think that most of the men here are just repeating talking points that modern women spew out, if I had to be completely honest. With that being said, I'm gonna play through a little bit of this and y'all can see what I'm talking about.
All things that don't allow women to come and open up to us because we are ready to play football every goddamn time.
That's how I'm gonna make my wife feel safe. She wants to know that in any conversation, I ain't gonna just be like, all right, I gotta go outside and smoke real quick. Like, I ain't, you know, she wants to feel safe.
You can't be a natural protector. You are the one that's causing harm.
A lot of men don't got shit to contribute. If you can't even commit marriage to a motherfucking woman, what makes you think that she wants to commit to having a baby?
The reward for being disciplined is the outcome of what makes men so great and what makes men be able to understand.
I think we on to something here. I think we on to something.
So that's the panel. So I'm gonna let a little bit of the beginning play. and then I'm going to skip through to certain parts that I want to discuss.
All right, so we rolling. So this the thing. We done came together. We done been brought together. We got Sister Song. You know, Sister Song is the homies, and they are doing some revolutionary work. I mean, 2025, let's just be real, has been full of some weird shit, some fuck shit. It's been just some strange shit this year, you know, and Black people being attacked left and right, our stories, our educational institutions, our safe places, and our power. And that's my thing, you know. I got an organization called Build Power, so I'm really about power, and it's from the legacy of the Black Power movement. And I don't think you can get any closer to power than the person who birthed it.
Right. Yes.
The Black woman, right?
Yes.
A lot of the time, it's Black men that stand in the way of it, right? That get in the way of, you know, what we're supposed to be empowering, which we're supposed to be collaborating.
So listen to what he just said. He said that you can't get any closer to power than what birthed it, which is the Black woman, which is crazy because I thought that you need the sperm of a man in order to impregnate somebody so that they can have birth, but okay. And then he said that we, Black men, are the ones that often stand in the way of them, of their power. I want you to understand how this conversation is already being framed. Automatically, it's Black men's fault. Never mind oppression, never mind slavery, civil rights, Jim Crow, none of these systems, racism that was put into place to destroy the Black community, to remove the Black man out of the household. Never mind none of that. It's our fault.
And so when we're thinking about things like, you know, Sister Song is steeped in reproductive justice. And when we talk about reproductive justice, it's the human right for bodily autonomy. Now, here's the thing. You know, I get into all the academic terms and then I get confused. So we're going to get into it for real about what this means to us, what the human right to bodily autonomy, the human right to have kids, to not have kids, to parent kids in a healthy environment, to set up that environment, and what goes into that actually means to us. And I want to make sure that, you know, the way we're talking about it, other people can understand it, because I know for a fact, if people came to me however many years ago and was like, hey, what you think about reproductive justice? I would have a very confused look on my face. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what that means and how we engage with it, but everybody here comes from a different perspective, a different life, a different experiences, and we want to bring that to this conversation. So I know that there's no way to get there without the empowerment of Black women and centering Black women in that power talk, in that power struggle, in that power strategy, in that movement, in our behavior. And what in y'all's eyes does that mean to you? Like, from y'all's experience, what's your connection to?
I just wanted to play that intro because I wanted to kind of give you the tone that's being set here. Again, if they want to discuss, and this is a YouTube channel that's for discussion of Black women. So if they want to discuss that, I have no problem with it. I just don't like how much it's going to be putting blame on Black men. And again, nobody's perfect. There is definitely accountability on both sides. I think the issue is of the reason that a lot of content that comes out now, especially in red pill spaces, that people, women in general, Black women in particular, do not like, is because now they're the ones that's being held accountable for their actions. And it's not just Black women. I've done countless reaction videos to all different types of women. It's just women in general being held accountable for their actions in terms of what is wrong with our community and how we can repair our community. And so when we have these types of conversations, it's so easy to put the onus on the Black man. So right now, this clip is going to talk about Black men being forced out of the house.
So I think we got to attack that from not just right now in this racist culture that we're seeing with this administration, but also from a generational standpoint.
For sure.
I don't have the historical information, man. That's why I'm a listener, man. I'm a great listener. But you know, when I hear, you know, from your generation, your perspective, and your perspective, and everybody's, you know, perspective in the sense that as we get into it, I feel like we let women down in that regard. We didn't stand on business. And
What you mean by that?
I just feel like we let depression wear us down. Fathers let depression wear them down and beat them down, take them out of the house, and therefore
They forced them out of the house.
forced them.
No, they had a program. They forced them out.
I get the.
They didn't leave the house.
I feel that. I understand that. I can't. But ain't nobody gonna make me leave my woman. I get that. I get it. But ain't nobody gonna make me leave my family.
I got you.
I get what. I understand that. I could never fathom what went on back then.
I think you might be alluding to weak ass men allowing things that might be coming up. Like, you know, like, oh, this seems like, I don't know exactly the historical presence of it.
Now, let me speak to this real quick. First of all, now, this is the guy that Clifton Powell actually got into it with. And I want you to notice that the very first thing, I don't remember if this was the very first thing that he said in this entire conversation. It probably wasn't. But this is like very early on in anything that he said. And the very first words that came out of his mouth was weak ass men. Think about that. Now, he's gay. That's the other part of it, too. He's gay. Y'all gonna hear their mama's voice in all their voices. But going back to black men being forced out of the household, was it 100% of the black men that left? Absolutely not. But when you talk about systemic racism, they made a movie about it, Claudine, where the women could not have a man in the house if they wanted certain benefits. And a lot of women, the black man didn't have to be. He said, nobody's going to take me away from my family or force me not to be there for my family. The woman did that. A lot of women did that. And there's plenty of YouTube videos of women in the 50s, and 60s, and 70s conducting interviews where they basically chose feminism. They basically chose to not have a man in the house because they wanted the benefits that came with not having that man. The government became their man. So a lot of this was a choice. But let's continue.
Either, or you know how you say like, oh, like, you know, you stripping us from the house. Oftentimes, I'm a man who dates men. A lot of men aren't strong. So the way that you say you're not gonna take nobody from my family, you're not gonna strip me from my family, a lot of people don't walk with that. A lot of people don't have that. So I mean, like, it is systematic, but I mean, at the same time,
I mean, it
you
beats
somebody. I mean, you part of like the few men who is not going to live their life like that.
I mean, I get a system that
So-
you live in a place
Yeah.
that is just geared to tell you you ain't shit, you ain't shit, you ain't shit.
And it beats you down.
You ain't shit, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
And it beats your other counterpart down, so y'all come home to
Madness.
beatness. Yeah. Nobody know how to heal anybody, right?
It's a lot that goes into.
And how many of those men were coming home to quarrelsome women who will also beat them down? How many men come home to a woman that after he's out in society all day, you know, being a man, dealing with the stresses of the world, then has to come home and there's no peace in his home from his woman who's supposed to bring him peace, who's supposed to be his peace? You see what I'm saying? These are just regurgitating the same talking points that modern women have been spewing for the last 50 years. You know who doesn't talk like this? Typically, traditional-minded married women. Now, we're going to get to this argument in a second, but I want to go to this dude, excuse me, the gay dude. His name is Joseph, I think. I want to get to this part of him breaking down. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of background. Now, I think everybody at that table pretty much, Clifton Powell, he's going to say later on, his mother unalived herself when he was 8 years old. He was raised by his father, but his father was alcoholic, very abusive. I think most of the guys at that table was actually raised by a single mother, which you can definitely tell by the way that they talk. This gay dude that's about to talk, he was actually raised by a mother and a father. But I want y'all to listen to what he says and pay attention to how his frame of thinking is when it comes to men.
opposed to what does love mean to her? What does that mean to you? I'll tell you what it means to me. You tell me what it means to you, and let's find our way to middle ground of some sort. I think it's there. It's just trying to understand what that is.
Shout outs to the $5 super chat, Fanatic of Media 44. How many of these guys do you think have enough brains to actually talk real-ish? There are certain things that they did say in this conversation that I do agree with, but the overall perspective that they're bringing to this discussion is just a bunch of BS.
Because everybody throws that
in
shit
my
around.
personal opinion.
It's popular,
Right.
makes a lot of money, it's nice. Everybody wants it. Everybody's fighting for a
I
variation.
mean, think about it. The name of this is Black Men Trust Black Women. Trust black women to do what? Trust them to do what? What exactly? Where's the panel called Black Women Trust Black Men?
I like it.
I'm going to combine like a couple of different topics, and it won't be in any chronological order.
Get them lights up,
just
y'all.
Bear with me. One thing that Conscious will talk about is pandering, and me as a Black gay man, for me, love shows up as different. There's no sex attached to my care for Black women. So I would say for me as a child, one of the strongest women that were within my life was my grandmother. She was someone who she loved me with everything. She was someone who made sure that whenever I walk into a room, know that, you know, I'm not trying to sound cocky or nothing, but eyes will be on you. People will be listening to you. Whatever you want to be in your life, you can be, whether that be a president, a CEO, whether you own your own business, whether you be a millionaire, anything you want to do, you can do. And with that, my grandmother was someone, she was a banker. You know, she was someone who, she helped her community. All the people from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, North Little Rock, Arkansas, she knew all the millionaires. She knew all the business owners. She told people yes, no. She ran her bank. She ran her branch. She had people pull guns out on her and trying to rob her. That same woman who left work, she was someone who raised 2 strong sons. My father's a federal investigator. My uncle, my late uncle, he was a manager of the VA for the suicide unit. She was someone who raised strong Black men. And the same Black men that she supported, the same Black man that she fed that was also her husband, also be the same people that put their thumb on their motherfucking head. You know? So what I'm trying to say is someone who can be so strong, we also live where we're in a community where traditionally, once a white man took his thumb off of us, a lot of us put our thumb on the woman. So one thing that you talked about as far as like your dad and how you treated your mother, I feel like one privilege it is to not be gay. Not gonna lie, I love being gay. Like, you know, like whether it's not a choice, it's not a choice. But in my life, what I feel is, you know, it was karma for the straight men, and also like to reject what patriarchy and masculinity look like, because I had to choose how I'm going to live my life. So, you know how you were talking about how...
So this nigga just said he's gay as payback for straight men and patriarchy. Anytime you hear a man talk about let's dismantle the patriarchy, you already know there's some BS going on. But did you catch that? He loves being gay because in his mind, it is payback to straight men. And he also said the same strong man that his father was or whatever. Then he turned around and said, people will put their thumb on the woman's head. Now, I notice in this conversation a lot, he'll start off saying one thing like it's a direct person that he's talking about, and then he'll switch over and say people, as to not be very direct, which is definitely, that's not a masculine way of expressing yourself. And if he's gay as payback to straight men, that's definitely a decision, a choice that he made. Because that's his way of justifying it. Which means he said he loves being what he is because it's payback. That sounds like you're trying to justify it. And why would you feel the need to justify something? If you like niggas, you like niggas, whatever. But don't sit here and act like you're doing it for this moral standing reason as payback to the straight man who, and what do you mean he put his thumb on your mother's forehead? Are you saying that's how, do you know what their relationship was when the door was closed? That's your mother, that's your father. They're husband and wife. You don't know what their relationship was. You don't know what she did. and putting a thumb on it. He didn't say he was abusive. He didn't say he was whipping her ass. None of that. Yeah, so he hates his dad. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to pick up. So you're gay because you hate your dad.
Your dad, he was real good with his mom. He was real good with his sisters.
And me as a child.
Yes. A lot of men, they just live based off of the moral code. You don't even know what your own motherfucking morals are.
Right.
A lot of you just want to have children because that's what you're taught to. You didn't get no education. You're not saying you have to get education. You have no craft. You have no skill. So all you can do is really just have fun and have children. Nigga, fuck you. And then another thing that I want to say is too, a lot of people.
Why is he talking so sassy? Like, he sounds like, you see how he keeps cussing and maybe I ain't picked up because I've been skipping through this video, but like if you listen to the video, he's the only one using a bunch of profanity and just has this very sassy disdain for men.
You know, when I said like, you know, having accolades and things like this, a lot of my friends, and especially with moving to Houston, I have such a respect because like in Arkansas, a lot of people had kids by the time that they were my age. I'm 26. Majority of my friends, like they're between 29 to 30 to 40, you know, beautiful women, well into the careers, clocking 200,000.
There it is, he's 26, he was born in 2000. That explains a whole lot.
Plus, you know, my allyship to them is supporting them whenever we're out, like I am a protector. I'm not, there's a big kind of like conversation about like, oh, gay men don't want to be treated as like poodles or whatever. Realistically, I'm 6'2", I'm 200 pounds, 215. Like it's like, if a motherfucker step up to my friends, I'm going to defend them. I feel like my presence as a black gay man is to use my masculinity, me being a man, as to not only allow myself, you know, vertical, you know, promotion within life. I don't know how to coin that the right way, but also bring up my sisters with me. And that can be whether it's education, go and get that education, whether it's in careers, because black women are the smartest group in America. They're also the most underpaid. If you want that money, ask for it. You know, whenever you go to that interview, let them know what you want. And the same thing as far as like
Now, this is something I do agree with that he said. You don't get paid what you get paid what you negotiate for. Now, there's two things to that. Number one, most enrolled does not mean most educated. But I get the point. Most educated, okay, fine. Doesn't matter if you're not even using the degree that you went hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for. Secondly, them being the most underpaid, I mean, we've already debunked the pay gap myth. Most women choose jobs that pay less money. They want to work comfortable jobs. They don't work on the steel mill. They don't work on the oil rigs. They don't work in construction. They don't do these jobs that actually typically pay higher. And even if you talk about like in the corporate world, they're not working upwards and getting in those certain positions, but it's the jobs that they choose. So if you want to get paid a certain amount, choose a certain job, but also he's right, negotiate what you want for, ask for it.
Job, how you can switch out a job is no different than a man. And you know how we're talking about like the moral basis of, I don't want to lose my track. The moral basis of people not knowing themselves and having babies, a lot of men don't got shit to contribute. If you can't even commit marriage to a motherfucking woman, what makes you think that she wants to commit to having a baby? That 9 to 10 months, that can fuck up that whole baby's life.
Not being.
Why is he talking about heterosexual relationships and he doesn't know anything about it? And again, everything that he's saying about men is from a negative aspect. I have yet to hear any one of these men at this table say anything positive about men. Anything. The dude with the braids, Conscious Lee, he's the king of pandering. He just sits in the car and just uses a bunch of big words and says what women want to hear. Some of these other brothers that's on here is actors, like you got your man that was in... Anyway.
Yeah, you can't
In the same way that she was talking about, you know, asking for that promotion and things like that, because that also, when we're when we're seen as having some more control or power over in a work environment, you know, people aren't going to abuse us as much. People aren't going to, supposedly, right? Where are we advocating You know what I'm saying? In the same
those
way
lights up.
of like not being prepared for fatherhood. Where are we advocating for those black women in the job, in the workplace, and making sure that they are seen in the way that they should be and empowered in the way that they should, in the same way that in fatherhood and outside of fatherhood, when you know that your homie is gonna have thinking about having kids, when you know that your brother or whoever is thinking about having kids, how are you empowering the mother that, or who could be the mother, and how are you holding your brother or your homie accountable? And what does that even mean?
The same conversation I can say like, hey, you need to ask for it 150, 200, 175, be the same conversation like, you know, like, what's he doing?
Right.
You know, like, and it's like, it might be a conversation. I think also with certain conversations, it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or whatever, you're still a man. Whenever a woman wants to open up and talk to you about certain things, that's when you want to talk about it. Like, you can't be overbearing, because with patriarchy, with masculinity, it's kind of like you trying to talk about something you want to talk about and shouldn't even want to talk about that. That's you exerting your masculinity over somebody. So, like, whenever my friends talk about their dating, majority of my friends are introverts. They're real kind of like to themselves. They don't like to talk about their business. When they do open up, that's when I ask, like, hey, like, you know, you have X, Y, and Z. Is he providing you what you need? Or is he just a placeholder until that right man comes? So sometimes it will be different. It just depends.
Yeah.
Because you got to be the person to say it.
Yeah, I would say too.
You got to go ahead. No, I want to see what you're going to say.
No, I'll go ahead.
And placeholder might not be the right thing. It might not be the right thing to say, but.
You know, I was just talking about, I'm 70 years old. So I come from a whole
Here we go, let's go.
era than any of you Negroes is talking about. And what I've learned, and I'm not saying I'm right, I think everybody is right. Because there's so many levels to this. But most of this was laid on our parents' parents.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1915, and his parents were slaves. Well, his grandparents were slaves. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault, it's not your father's fault, it's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate black women. I live with a psychiatrist, forensics detective, gangster, loving Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, who's just been patient with me to teach me how to love.
Just said 3 different zodiac signs.
I don't want to get too deep. I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro, really bad. I'm fucking up. So I never been monogamous. So I don't fucking know what it is.
What age did you become a monogamous?
Today. Let me just say what it is.
To know.
And we don't talk about this. We don't talk about dopamine being in a pleasant center of the brain like we talked about oxytocin is the hormone. It's called the cuddle hormone. So a lot of times we're just talking in generalities. And that's why I think what you said about counseling, because a counselor is going to get inside of this from a real, not even white people perspective, just from a scientific perspective, unless science is not wrong and the brain is not the man it is. So when I hurt my girl, which I've done over and over, and I commend her for even being with me, and I said it in my podcast, and I'm gonna say this and stop. I called one of my partners who's brilliant. He said, when you hurt somebody, where you leave them is where they stay. So I think our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, the people that raised us, those men
Look
who
at his
treated,
face. He don't.
women outside the house, nice, but then put the thumb on the grandmama and put the thumb on the girlfriend or whoever. They are all. It all comes from out of all of that, and I think that's what makes me excited that we're going to bring the women and the uncles and we need to bring them all in here. But go ahead, what are you going to say?
The one thing that I just want to talk about in Luke, make sure I say the name right, crop this part out. Okay. What Luke brought up was like accountability. Like, yes, we can talk about, what our families did to us, all this, all that. But eventually, and I know why people try and say this, and I really don't like that, but eventually comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired and, kind of like putting onto them like, hey, like, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about like, going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to love.
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
It's all right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me.
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me, and that's what a lot of women have issues with.
Because I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said,
listen to
I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Don't overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you because you're talking out of line.
But you're not gonna disrespect me.
You don't know what the fuck you talking
about.
I am. I do. Love at 60,
I do.
Bro. You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do.
You can't
I do.
Shit.
I do.
You don't know it, nigga.
I do.
I'm good. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Fuck out of here. I'm living. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know is happening.
I think there's a misunderstanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. No, listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth of this shit. You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all this time. That's what our parents have gone through, and that's why we all so fucked up right now.
You asked.
Now he wants the gay dude, he wants Clifton to not speak on what his family went through and this, that, and the 30s. Like, okay, at some point you have to be accountable, which I do agree. I think that when you're in your 20s, you can't blame your family anymore. You grown. You got to figure out what's wrong with you, and you can't blame your family. I don't think he's necessarily blaming his family. He's just saying that even at the age of 60, 70 years old, I didn't know, and I'm just now realizing, and now I'm doing the work, or I need to do the work to address what's wrong so I can properly know how to love properly. This gay dude, and I'm calling him gay dude, not as a disrespectful way, but that context matters because he's 26 years old. He was born in 2000. And I'm pretty sure he might have seen Next Friday and Friday After Next, but he doesn't remember it the way that we that grew up in that era and watched it come out remembers. So there's a lack of respect there. But even outside of the fact that Clifton Powell is an actor with a legendary resume, you're talking to somebody who is 3 times your age about what they should do, about what they're going through. Not only that, you are gay. So you don't know what it's like to deal with women and to have these relationships with these women. Because your relationship with women, and this is funny because I was watching this Kevin Samuels video earlier today. Obviously it's an old video, but he was talking about how gay men, black women in particular, have the most highest regard and the greatest relationships with their gay male friends. And it's like, damn, if you would treat your male friends the same way you treat your gay male friends, we would get along a lot better. So he doesn't have the experiences of a heterosexual male that's out here dealing with these women. Whether Clifton is wrong or right, Clifton even said, I know this is wrong, but this is where it's at. But all the attitude and sassiness and trying to overtalk them and getting loud and very feminine behavior. And you're gonna hear, actually, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more before I skip to the next part, but you're gonna hear him say something about how men act, and that's definitely how he's acting in this regard.
How do we love black women?
Yeah.
That's right here. Trust black women and listen to black women because they know more than we do what it is that they need.
I don't think that's true either.
As men,
there's a lot of black women who don't know how to love.
I'm not talking about what they know how to love. I'm saying what they need as far as the reproductive.
I get that.
Okay, now I'm going to skip through a little bit because at this point, Clifton did kind of start doing a lot of interrupting on over everybody, and it was really all just for him to say the same, to keep making the same point over and over that we need therapy, we need therapy, we need therapy. And it's like, all right, you know, we got you, heard. Heard, my nigga, heard. But let's skip through, I say, about right there. All right. Last part. We almost done, y'all. How y'all doing? Y'all good out there? How many people we got watching? We got 118 people watching and 46 likes. Oh, nah, we need to get them likes up, bro. Get them likes up, y'all. Also, I like this. I like y'all up here on live. Let me know in the chat if you got any other videos you think I should do a reaction to on live. Let's get it.
Power than somebody else, and that we abuse that power. We use that power to try to control the situation in our favor when we should be listening to other people, when we should be honoring their existence and centering their freedom, their liberation. You know what I'm saying? So their experience. So what does that mean to y'all? What does that even mean to dismantle patriarchy? What is that? Why is it harmful? And I'm not putting that necessarily on you, but whoever wants to.
This whole dismantle patriarchy thing is crazy. First of all, this is an attack on masculinity. The same masculinity that built the world that we live in, the same masculinity that civilized the world so much to where women have all these options and choices of how they want to live and what they want to do, instead of being thankful for it, instead of saying, hey, men, hey, masculinity, hey, patriarchy, great job. Because what rights do women have that men don't have in 2026? Let me know. And going back to what Clifton said, I see some of y'all in the chat saying, no, 60 years old is too damn old. Let me explain something to y'all. I don't know how old you guys are. And again, I agree that, you know, you can't, I don't think you can blame your parents and blame, if you know that something is wrong, then you have to do the work to figure it out. But if you don't know something is wrong, some people don't know that something is wrong. Like, where's the grace at? That we expect people to have grace for us, but we don't want to have grace for people. Again, this man is 70 years old. He comes from a completely different time and different era where this type of behavior wasn't even encouraged. The stuff that they used to do back in the day and that they went through is what laid the foundation for men to even sit down and have a conversation like this right now. Needs to return to the time of family structure. I apologize. I was supposed to put the link in the description. Let me put the link in the chat right now so y'all can actually watch the full video when we get done over here. But all right, let's play this last part that I want them to, where they talking about dismantling the patriarchy, which is some bullshit. Because if you want to be completely honest, I would say that, especially with black people, we more so in the matriarchy. Because all we do is big up our women. I mean, listen to this conversation that's being had right now.
What does that mean? Yeah.
So when someone comes to you and they already know what you possess as a person, you know, like, for example, like a lot of doctors. Once I feel like a lot of black men get higher education, a lot of people want to get treated like a bitch. That's the truth. Like, more accolades, get treated like a bitch. Like, you want, like, oh, like,
take care of me.
Yes, take care of me. Like, or like, you know, oh, like, I'm the prize. You know, I'm the prize.
You talk about when you become rich and famous.
You don't even got to be rich and famous. It could be you going like for 12 years in academia.
That language
I'm trying to understand you.
What?
like treated like a bitch.
like a bitch.
That's how they want to be treated. Some men want to be treated like that.
But think about the
That's
way
relative
that
to
you're saying
patriarchy.
that, and
Yeah,
what we're
that's
talking about
good.
now
That's
around
good.
centering like black women and their experiences, and even the saying treated like.
I'm not making that connection. Bitch to me is subservient. Men can be bitches. Women can, you know, like I shouldn't say that.
But you're a man.
Yeah, but
so you being called a bitch is not the same as a woman being called a bitch, especially a black woman being called a bitch.
I feel like the black women that listen to this, they gonna know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because you're talking like them, and that's the thing. Listen, if right, at least in this conversation, he's not acting like a man. He's acting like a male. He might be a male, But even earlier when he got sassy and loud with Clifton, that's why I wanted to point out, like, nigga, you was acting like a bitch then. Straight up. You hear the way that he talks about men. He said he hasn't talked to his father in 6 years. He said he's gay because it's payback for straight men. Does that sound like a man to you, or does that sound like a bitch? I'm not saying he's a bitch. I don't know him personally. I'm talking about the behaviors that's being displayed and the things that he's saying.
They're gonna know what I'm talking about.
As long as we put, because I think it's important. I hear what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it. What I think that it's important that we talk about all of it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So like, we're speaking in this way. This is how the dismantling happens. Because the language and how we say things is very important.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So like, I'm not saying like don't say it, because I'm like, I say bitch all the time. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But it's essentially about when we're talking about the systems of power, and when we talk about dismantling patriarchy, and we talk about masculinity and what that means and what that looks like to us. And I can say even to y'all as someone as cis men, because my perspective of
cis man, I hate that fucking word, cis. This shit just makes me like, yo, this shit make me tap out. Like, nigga, but just say men. Why do y'all say cisgender, like the gender you was decided to birth? What the fuck? All right, yo. All right, there we go with these identity semantics. This shit is disgusting, young. Sounds like daddy issues all the way around. Sounds like he's masking and his family or a family member violated him, which is why it wasn't a choice on his part. That could be the truth. But I want y'all to, this whole dismantling the patriarchy, it frames it as if men are this oppressive force that is keeping women down, that is keeping women from achieving their goals. Just like they said earlier, women are thriving in education. They're free to go to college and go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. They choose lesser paying jobs. That's why they're getting paid less. But ultimately, that's what feminism has been, the choice. They have the choice to go work and do whatever it is they want to do. There are no rights that men have and women don't in this country. If you want to bring up abortion, it's not illegal. They can go to other states and get it done. And actually, some men will argue the fact that if a woman gets pregnant and the man wants her to keep the baby and she doesn't want to keep the baby, he has no say-so. That's even more of a right that she has over him. These are only problems in a first world country. Go to a third world country and go see what patriarchy oppression really looks like. Because it ain't here in America. Not the way that they trying to frame it. And to see a bunch of men sitting around saying this is just disgusting, like, yuck. I don't know what they base this panel off of. Because like I said, some of the actors on there, some of the people that's on there, they're not really so much chiming into the conversation the same way as they was earlier. I think that, you know, it's cool to have different perspectives. But this is wild.
It's going to be completely different from how you all experienced it, having come from a different place. So like, when growing up, I have two brothers, and the way my father taught my two brothers what it would be to be what it meant to be a man and how to show up and what masculinity meant. It was always domination, it's power, it's strength, and it was never really softness, like protection, not softness. So I wanted to comment.
Yes, because we're men. Why are y'all trying to make men into women? Strength, power, protection. That's how a man defended his family. That's how a man protected his family. This is in our DNA. That's what it's supposed to be. I'm not saying he's supposed to go upside his wife's head every time she don't make his sandwich the right way. But yes, that's what it is. Softness, that's what the women do typically. Are you getting on the women because they're not strong and aggressive? No. We are different. We play different roles. We have different strengths and weaknesses.
But the idea that being a good man or a man
It's a mix.
is being like or men are natural protectors or natural providers. I don't think that's the case. at all.
What?
Men are not. You can't be a natural protector and provider when you are the one that's causing harm.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
What harm are men causing? What is the harm that he speaks of? Men aren't natural protectors and providers. You can't be a natural protector when you're the one causing harm. Let's say a woman is being attacked by a man, and the man is causing harm on that woman. Who does she expect to come defend her? Is it another woman, or is it another man?
so what are you protect? You're protecting. So you say you're protecting women.
You said that so eloquently.
You're saying
So simple too.
He said it the way I was trying to say it.
No,
you're protecting yourself.
Then he be doing his motherfucking hands like this, like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
So
That is largely how we do it wrong.
And then we talk about masculinity. So when we're teaching young men and boys,
I think we on to something here. I think we on to something.
What masculinity is, it's always an antithesis to femininity and
Exactly
womanhood.
right.
So then it's just like, oh, to be a man and to be strong and to show up means you don't be like a woman. So
Right,
being a woman
right.
is less than. It's always going to be down.
Right.
So let's go back to what we were talking about on the table. Listen,
Right.
what I was trying to say to you was this.
I think.
Out of everybody in this motherfucking room, I'm 70 years old. My mother committed suicide when I was 4. My father was a dysfunctional alcoholic. I'm just learning. Like you said, I think when you learn, you gotta do better.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying.
Shout outs to Fanatic of Media 44, send a $5 super chat. F the conscious lead dude, simp.
Trying to do better. So we talking about trusting black women, because that's why the fuck I'm here.
Right.
And I don't like doing this kind of shit.
Right.
Because my brain is on another level, because I live with the boss. I live with a queen who's a boss, that if you saw me, and I'm just saying this, and that's why I got emotional, because I'm living it right now. Every 18 seconds, a woman gets beaten in this country by a man. When a woman is killed, it's by the domestic partner. So it's a lot of things that y'all are talking about that's true, that in order for us as black and Latino men, or you Latin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm half Latin.
Head ass.
I'm just saying.
No, but I'm just saying.
I never knew that.
Nobody at this table is wrong. In order to love black women, we got to figure out where we are as men and how to get away from what you said, that patriarchal kind of bullshit that we've been taught. Like your dad, be nice to everybody else, but got his thumb on your mother's head. That's not love.
So what happens when you come to a woman that you don't see as a queen?
Okay,
Real fast. Right now, we just got done doing the No Kings rally, right?
Right.
Talking about kings, talking about Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying? We keep on talking about a queen, it automatically places a hierarchy. So what do you do to the women you see as peasants, and or what do you do when a man does not see a woman as a queen?
Okay,
I think
so
that's a part of the issue.
but I'm
Of
gonna ask a
respect for
question
women.
real quick.
Black women are queens in the
hierarchy.
beginning.
Wait. So I think that there was
It's
something.
important.
I think there was something really important that you bringing up and that you bringing up when we're talking about
I need a drink.
When we're talking, well, here you go.
You gonna take one?
I stopped drinking for a year. I stopped drinking for a year. I need a drink. I need a goddamn drink.
So I think there's something
Get the
really,
cigarette.
really
Get the cigarette.
important.
Smoke a
Oh,
cigarette.
yeah. How do we understand who taught us how to have power, how to exercise our power?
Let's address
yeah,
it.
let's go.
This is what I was saying, guys. Listen, try to hear me. I hate to sound like the grandfather, but I am. Is when you meet a woman who maybe has gone through trauma and has come out of that trauma and has fixed herself in terms of her tone and respect to a man, and she's gentle, she disarms you. But if you never seen that, you don't even know how to react to it. And in the beginning, when I met my girl, I was so fucking mean, and I was tough, and I was all out there, and I was all over the place, and I was disrespectful, and whether it's dopamine or oxytocin, I put all that shit in her face, and I crushed her. This really happened. And I called my partner, and one of my partners was a thug. He said, fix it. My other partner said, when you hurt someone, where you leave them is where they stay. If we talk about being here to trust black women, we cannot trust black women unless every man that I know, and I'm still struggling with being monogamous in the streets because I'm well known, is we gotta start with, I believe, therapy, or at least reading and going into ourselves, holding ourselves accountable, and say, yeah, I fucked up. Because the first thing, what am I calling my buddy? I said, man, she had my phone for a fucking month. He said, nigga, just don't say you did it.
We gotta meet people where they are. Sometimes I think
okay.
you're saying reading. Reading is not the only important thing because a lot of people
didn't
can.
say
No, I'm
reading.
saying
Now let me, cause he's just kind of about to get a little bit heated again. But let me say something real quick. What he just said is one of the biggest differences. Now, again, I was actually over here, and shout outs to Clifton Powell, DC's very own. All right, came up in Northeast. This man has an extensive filmography, not just films, but TV shows as well. His career spans all the way back from 1981. God damn. This nigga been acting for 45 years. Shit. So this man has been popping for a long time. So he's going to get recognized. He's going to get those options of women that are just probably constantly always on him. So any woman that deals with a man of that nature, I mean, that typically when we're talking about status and money, that's what is considered high value to a lot of these women. So a lot of women in our culture, they think that they're supposed to have this imaginary nigga that's high value and makes all this money and does all this, that, and the third, and he's actually faithful and monogamous with her. But a lot of women, especially outside of our culture, realize that that man has options and he's going to exercise those options. There's rules and parameters with it, but she not going to let her emotions fuck the bag up. So with him being in that situation, I can understand now if he says, you know, I got a woman that I really treated terribly and I need to do better. I mean, again, this is why I said have some grace, because so what if he's 70 years old and he's just figuring it out? If he's been able to get away with it for so long, just because y'all have it figured out, y'all don't have everything figured out. I don't know if there's, I think somebody on here earlier just said they're 62 years old. Yeah, he said, I'm a 62-year-old black man and I agree with CP. Exactly. You're learning until the day you die. There's plenty of people that's even older than Clifton Powell that still don't have a lot of things figured out. But it's about to get heated, so let's watch.
people can read and not really.
Everybody's taking
No, I'm
every
saying-
fucking thing
no,
I
no,
say.
no.
Hold on, bro.
I'm not saying that.
Stop
Listen.
taking the shit that I'm saying out of
No, no, no.
context, bro.
I'm explaining the concept.
You talking about reading. I'm saying reading is a myriad of shit you got.
All right, but let him
That's
let him
not
say
what
his
I'm even going
perspective.
to. People read and don't understand what they're reading. You just said that your woman, your black queen, she's the queen to you, and essentially you kind of alluded to the reason that she was a black queen to you was because she was gentle to you and was able to make you feel like, oh, I can open up and feel safe.
That's not what I said.
That's not what you said.
No, I said what
Explain
I
to me
was
again.
trying to say. She's held me accountable.
Held you accountable.
And forced me, man.
You didn't in a soft way that made you able to do it.
Because I'm about to walk the fuck out of here. We're right here with you. But I'm saying, in order for us to trust, if this is about fucking trusting black women, then you gotta be able to let your woman hold you accountable when you do patriarchal shit.
You agree?
Right.
And when you come
that.
from the streets, that's almost impossible. Because we grew up, like you said, fuck that bitch. It's just so complicated. And in order for you to grow, even at 50, and I agree with you, you have to take yourself accountable. But when y'all bring me in this motherfucker, I'm living this. The main theme is trusting black women, but how do we get ourselves as men fixed to be able to love them the way they need to be loved?
Well, that's the beauty of this.
All right, now let's just do this real quick. Now, this is on Wikipedia, so argue with your bald-headed auntie if you disagree. I'm just reading what's on Wikipedia. Patriarchy is a social system in which positions of authority are primarily held by men. The term patriarchy is used both in anthropology to describe a family or clan controlled by the father or eldest male or group of males, and in feminist theory to describe a broader social structure in which men as a group dominate society. Now, if you expect a man to be a provider and a protector, that means that he is in an authoritative position. That means he is a leader, correct? I don't care what nobody says, well, maybe some lesbians and some feminists, but most heterosexual women want a man to lead. Something as simple as, hey, what do you want to eat? Most women want the man to decide what they're going to eat. A lot of women like it when the man actually orders for her. Okay? So that natural role that's in our DNA to be a leader, and a woman's natural role in her DNA to follow the lead of a strong man, manifests itself into societal structures where men typically hold the positions of leadership. And it works. Because men have the wherewithal to lead. Now, he said something earlier, Clifton Powell did. He said that, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but basically he was saying that people, I don't know if he's saying people in general or somebody in particular, had an issue with Kamala Harris running for president because how was she going to lead? And then he responded to that with, well, a lot of us grew up in single mother raised households. So what do you mean she can't lead? And while I get that, I don't think that's a good example to use because statistically, the best possibility for a child to finish their education, graduate, not get incarcerated, not have anger issues, have better relationships, is being in a two-parent household. Statistically, that's the best option for a child. The next best option is if it's a single parent, it's when the child is raised by their father. That's not 100% of the time. Obviously, he said that his father was an abusive alcoholic. The next highest statistic is when that child is raised by a single mother, which means that's the worst, statistically speaking. You can look this up. Don't argue with me. Go argue with your bald-headed auntie. So when you're saying patriarchy and you're framing it as if it's a bad thing because men are typically in positions of power, yeah, that's the dynamic of humanity. Now, I'm not saying a woman couldn't be in a position of power and couldn't lead. Yes, we have female CEOs. Yes, we have women that are in, mayors and governors and things of that nature. But again, there's a reason why it's majority men. There's a reason why, if men and women have the same ability to vote, why do they keep voting men? Why didn't they vote for Kamala?
Conversation, because we won't get to that. That's the beauty of this exercise that has been created here. And that will continue on because it can't be figured out in this round table. But we
talking about part two.
We are taking the steps.
I got you.
This is one. We are right now, currently, right now, everybody in this room, harmoniously trying to lay this one brick. To create more foundation that we can build on to be able to have a place of trust that black women feel like they can come into this space with us, that we will listen and we will sit
and
here
be gentle.
And be gentle with ourselves, that we don't understand, that I don't understand what's being said, and I think somebody's hearing me wrong, somebody's saying it wrong, somebody's talking over me, something's happening to me. These are all things that don't allow women to come and open up to us because we are ready to play football every goddamn time.
Definitely.
Right now, we gotta, so that's why we gotta have our space to ourselves. A man has to have his space to himself.
It's patriarchal.
Can I ask a question to you?
Yeah.
People are living in broken marriage is not working in this culture. 3 out of 5 marriages end in divorce. So people are living in fear inside of their own home.
And 80% of those divorces are initiated by the woman. Again, the man builds the family and the woman destroys the family. So even going back to what they were saying earlier about men leaving their families, and Clifton had to correct them and say, no, they was forced out. What do we say about the women that destroy their own homes, that wreck their own homes and file for divorce?
Yes.
So the question I'm asking is for guys who straight from the hood. Is it possible for those guys to sit in here with us
Yes.
and hear us?
Yes.
And
being from the streets, I spent 2 years of my life locked up fighting 2 life sentences. It took a woman, and going back to what you were saying as well about how we as men got to stop relying on women. Women are natural nurturers and providers. It took a woman to show me love to say, this ain't how you do this. And my first mindset, being from the street, bitch, who you talking to? That's what I was thinking. But I had to understand, it's 2 parts to that. You either want to be a better person or you can accept what you think is right.
bro.
And so once she educated me on certain things and said, no, baby, we don't do it like this. You need to go to therapy. You need to do it. It was a lot of things that I felt like I should have been combative about, but I wasn't, because I know I talk to God and say, I need answers. My answers ain't always gonna come through a man.
For sure.
I was taught to believe that it did because a man should raise a man, but a woman is nurturing and caring, and if she cares about herself, she cares about her counterpart. So it's up to us to listen, to accept. We don't have to agree. 90% of the time, I don't agree. The fact that you can say, I accept, I receive what you're saying, you don't interrupt, you don't defend yourself. These are all.
I got a question. Is that hard for you as a street?
Let me let me say this about what he just said, because he did have a lot of great points there. Are those women actually respectful and care about their counterparts? What percentage of women, especially today, actually love and respect their male counterparts? What do you typically hear women, let's just say women in general, modern women in general, what is their attitude towards men today? How do they view men? How do they respect men? How do they show their men respect? That's something I want y'all to ponder and I want y'all to discuss in the comment section. But guys, I'm going to leave the content here. I have the link to this in the chat so you can click on it, but I'm actually going to post this video up as well, and I'll put the link to the full video so you can watch it on your own. But I appreciate all of y'all for joining this live. This has been fun once again.